Hey everybody, welcome back to Golf Test Dummy, the channel where I use my game to help your game, hopefully. Today's video is going to be a Q&A. Now, in the last video, if you haven't watched it, go watch it now. I asked all of you to give me some assistance. I asked you to provide me with some questions that you wanted answered so that I could in turn answer them in this video. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Alright, so our first question comes to us from Smokescreen, which is a YouTube channel that my cousin runs. The channel is based around nerd stuff basically, so Star Wars, Star Trek, The Witcher, Game of Thrones, all that stuff. He does movie reviews, TV show reviews, he has podcasts, he does Q&As, he does theory, he does video gaming, anything nerd. And his question is this, starting off with a doozy. Q&A for next video. Favorite band, Donnie Baker and the Pork Pistols or Randy Watson and Sexual Chocolate?
Man, that's an easy one. No disrespect to Donnie Baker and the Pork Pistols, but Randy Watson and Sexual Chocolate from Coming to America, a classic, all-time great comedy masterpiece of a movie, Eddie Murphy, without question, it's Randy Watson. If Randy Watson went on tour and was selling tickets, I'd have my tickets pre-ordered. Alright, so question number 2 comes from us from Kim Stock. Question: is it better to use one club for chipping within, say, 50 yards of the hole, or use a variety of clubs? That's a great question. I see lots of videos, lots of articles, lots of comments. Everybody's got an opinion on multiple clubs around the green with inside of, say, 30 yards, or just using one club and getting really good with it. There's two arguments. One argument says that if you use one club for all your different shots, you can become really skilled with that one club. The problem that I see with that is that then you have to make all sorts of different setup changes, manipulations, different grips, different ball positions, different stances, all of that to manipulate that one club to get it to perform what you want it to perform. Whereas if you take different clubs, then you don't have to change your technique nearly as much. And that way you can just focus on making the same action with your body, but letting the club do the work for you. So I like to use multiple clubs around the greens.
Almost hold out my first one.
Question number 3. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. Poida S. Poida S. P-O-I-D-A space S. So Poida asks, hi, I'm just curious. What is your handicap now, and what was it when you started this style with Jim? Thanks. P.S. I enjoy your vids. Thumbs up emoji. Thanks, Poida. That's a really good question, and I'm honestly surprised that I've never gotten it more often. I think you may be the first person to ask me that in the entire 6 or 7 month process that I've gone through with the JVGA system. My handicap when I started last season, I started back golf last season, and I was tracking my handicap with Game Golf. Game Golf, if you're not familiar with it, it's a GPS system. It uses your smartphone and all that to track all of your data. It tells you where your misses are, your average yardages for your clubs, and it keeps your handicap based off of the course you're playing. So it's not just a rough handicap, it's an actual like USGA rated handicap because it has the course rating and the slope rating factored in. And at the time last year that I stopped, I was about an 11. I think I was 10.8. And then this year I have not really tracked it because I've been recording everything on my phone. So when I record with my phone, I obviously can't be using a device other than just the camera with my smartphone. So I haven't been able to track it like with the course and slope factored in. And I would say that my handicap right now is probably a 9 or a 10, so it really hasn't dropped that much. But what has changed is my confidence in my short game, and my misses are not nearly as bad as they used to be. Everything got a little bit tighter, like the grouping of my misses versus my good shots got a little bit tighter. So it's not necessarily that my handicap, improved greatly, but my misses were better and I was a little bit more consistent. Right, question number 4. Now, I apologize in advance for the name, but this means something in other countries that it doesn't mean here. This comes from the Hacker Twat. Question for you. Jim clearly states, stay still. Yet on the downswing, he starts to rotate. So at what point does one no longer stay still? This is a good question. I've seen it several times on my channel, and I've seen it a lot of times on his channel. And I am no expert, and I'm not the teacher of this system. I didn't develop the system, so it's hard for me to answer this question with any sort of expertise and knowledge. This is really a good question for Jim, but I'll take my guess at it. And my guess is that feel and real are often two different things. Meaning that what a teacher can tell their students, or even what a golfer can say to themselves to get their body and their subconscious to perform a certain task, doesn't always line up with what's actually going on. So that might be my guess, is that he tells himself to stay still through impact, and maybe he does shift a little bit forward, maybe he does turn his shoulders a little bit, but he's focused on staying still through impact. So maybe by telling himself something like that, or his students that, it causes the results that he wants. Again, I'm no expert, and Jim might tell you completely different. I might be way off on that, but that's just my guess. All right, question number 5, and this is a pretty good one. This one comes to us from Hook to the Body, all one word, Hook to the Body, must be a boxer. Do you have your weight on the back foot for putting like Jim would suggest? Love the channel, man. Thanks, Hook to the Body. Yeah, I believe I am putting using the Jim Venetos method. I may not look exactly like him, like I'm not opened up to the target as much and all that, but I feel the pressure in my back foot, which for me would be my right foot, and I definitely feel like I'm right side dominant when I putt, and I also feel like my right hand is what's controlling my putting. I definitely try and give it that push from behind like he promotes to catch it on the ascending stroke, as he says. So yeah, I think I'm very much using his putting method. All right, our next question comes to us from the Weekend Hack, another YouTuber. Talk with him quite often, Ben Reeb. He's a good dude. Question: you mentioned you hit a lot of irons off the tee. Besides dog legs, if a hole is straight away, what is your cutoff yardage for not using the driver? Mine is any hole less than 350 yards, 375 yards depending on slope and wind, as well as seasonal conditions. Good question. Hey, Weekend Hack, Mr. Ben. I had to write down a few things because, when you're filming and you're walking around and you're playing golf, sometimes it's hard to keep track of everything. So I wrote this response down so that I didn't mess it up. For me, there are so many things that go into choosing my tee club. I don't know that yardage is my biggest determining factor, even though it is a consideration. I ask questions of myself like, which club am I more comfortable with right now? Where is the widest part of the fairway? Does driver give me a considerably better position coming into the green? Where's the trouble?
All these things and more come into my decision. Another thing I prefer is to leave myself a full shot if possible. If I hit driver 250 and that leaves me 80 into the green, that's fine. But I would prefer to have a full yardage, like 110 or 130, something like that, where I don't have to make a partial shot coming into the green. A lot of people just bomb it with the driver on short par fours. You're never going to get that 350 yard par four for most of us. So why are you trying to hit 300 yards off the tee and put it down there to leave yourself a partial shot that you don't practice and you're not good at? It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So for me, I don't really have a yardage cutoff. I just kind of go with the situation and I try and play to my strengths that day and leave myself good yardages into the green. This next question is from Martin Sherrill. It's a two-parter. My favorite YouTube channel at the moment. Thanks for sharing. Q&A. What is your favorite golf ball? And number 2, when will you break the 1,000 subscriber barrier? First of all, thanks, Martin. I appreciate that. The only person I ever thought that I would hear say that my YouTube channel was their favorite is my wife. She hasn't said it yet. So the answer to the first question, what is my favorite golf ball? That's a really tough question to answer for me at the moment because I'm kind of in flux right now. I'm trying out different golf balls. Currently, I am playing used, tailor-made, tour preferred golf balls in AA to AAA condition. I order my golf balls from golfballnut.com. I highly recommend going and checking them out. You can find all grades of all kinds of golf balls. They have specials all the time, and even if they're not running specials, you can get really good quality golf balls that have a lot of life left in them. Absolutely nothing wrong with these golf balls, and I don't get paid to say that. For the second part of that question, when will I break into the 1,000 subscriber club on YouTube, or as you put it, cross the 1,000 subscriber barrier? That is an excellent question, and I wish I knew the answer. If you had asked me that question 2 or 3 months ago, I would have said that I would be there by now. However, progress has slowed in the last couple of months. It could be that golf season is coming to a close for a lot of people. Not really sure, but I'm at 941 as of the time of this video, and it is a week before Thanksgiving. So I would like to think that I could cross that 1,000 subscriber barrier before the end of the year. That is a goal. All right, last question. I saved this one because it's a 4-parter and because it will segue into the end of the video where I want to make a statement. So let's read it. And I apologize in advance if I murder your name. Don Krzinski. Swersinski. All right, well, I tried. Don asks a 4-part question. Thanks for everything you do. My questions would be, number 1, why is it so easy to hit short clubs with the JV swing versus longer clubs? I think I understand what he's trying to ask me here, and I've heard this from a few people before. Jim has also heard it, I believe. He's told me he's heard this before from people. But my response to that would be is that the shorter clubs are easier to hit with any swing method. The longer the clubs get, the more demanding they become. And Jim says the same thing. And that's true. Whatever swing method you're using, loft, smaller swings, more control, things like that are given to us with the shorter clubs, and that helps mask sometimes if we have some swing faults or flaws. I think that applies to all swing methods, and the longer the club gets, the harder it is to control, the more offline you are, the more it's magnified because it's traveling a greater distance. Question number 2. Are you planning to stick with the JVGA swing? I'm going to skip that one and come back to it at the end to segue into my statement. Number 3. How is your bunker play with the JVGA swing? I don't practice very many bunker shots because I don't find myself in a whole lot of bunkers. I try and avoid the bunkers and the water and the hazards at all costs. My strategy on course is to make sure that I'm playing to safe areas with my misses being out of the sand, water, or any other hazards, or the woods, or OB for that matter. I really try and avoid those things at all costs because I understand just how big of a role penalty strokes can play in inflating your score. That said, when I get into a bunker, however, I'm not scared of a bunker anymore. I used to be terrified, but I know that I'm going to be able to get out and get it onto the green. I may not be a great player, but I know that I can get it out and give myself a putt at it. And question number 4, are you using the JV putting method? I answered this one in an earlier question. The answer to that is yes. I'm on my right side with my weight on my right. My right side is dominant, my right hand is dominant, and I try and hit it with an ascending stroke and keep still weight on my right foot without turning into the shot or whatever, like I see some people doing with their putters. All right, let's come back to question 2. Are you planning to stick with the JV swing? That is a really good question. I get this question quite often. I get emails about it, I get comments about it, I get people saying, hey, it looks like you're moving, your left knee's still moving, you don't look like you're doing the JV swing anymore, have you given up on it? You know, have you and Jim had a falling out? Are you done with this? Is it not working for you? On and on and on. I get tons of questions about it. And there really is no quick answer here, so I'm just going to try and give it to you straight. This channel that I created, the name when I came up with it was Golf Test Dummy. That should speak to what I wanted to do with this channel from its very inception. And if you go back and you watch the videos that I was producing before Jim and I got together and I took on the 90-day challenge and then another 90-day challenge, it was about variety, it was about testing out different things, it was about experimentation, it was about trying to help people to see what worked and what didn't. And that's where I've got to get back to, because that is the ultimate goal and an idea for the whole channel. That said, when Jim came to me for my first 3 months, my first 90 days, and he asked me to commit to that, I did. And I didn't take that commitment lightly, because I did not want to just get in a week or two and say, no, that's trash, and then just bow out. So a 3-month commitment for me was a very long commitment, and I stuck through it the whole way. When I completed that 90 days, that 3 months, he asked me if I'd like to re-up and do another 3 months. And I really didn't have any objections to doing that. I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's try that again. Let's run it back. Let's see just how good I can get with it. So 6 months of my channel in its 8-month, maybe 9-month existence have been devoted to that. So if you examine that and just take it for what it is, then 3/4, or at least 2/3 of my time with building this channel has been devoted to one method. That should speak volumes to how I feel about this. I've told all of you to go and sign up for his class because you learn so much more than just how to set up and hit a golf ball. Jim is a whole golf coach. Jim is a life coach. Jim has taught me more in 6 and 7 months than I've learned in over 20 years of golf. Not all of it do I put into practice. No. Not all of it do I use. But there are many things that I do use. And the reason that I don't use some of the other things, and the reason that my swing is changing and I'm moving on to other things, is simply because I need to get to a position to where I'm testing other stuff for the channel. I need more people engaged. I need more people to watch. I need to reach different groups of people. And if I can reach different groups of people, then by default, all of the content that I have that involves the JVGA method, all of those people will be able to see that if they come to the channel and they're watching the content, so they can discover it for themselves. But I need a bigger reach, and I need to grow, and I need to expand, and I've got to experiment. And right now, I'm synonymous with Jim and the JVGA system. And that's not a bad thing. I've met lots of great people. I've got lots of great viewers like you who came here as a result of that. Imagine the people that I'll meet when I start involving other things and trying other stuff and reaching a wider audience. So Jim and I talk all the time. I ask his advice all the time. I putt like he teaches. I hit out of the bunkers like he teaches. My short game is just like he teaches. I did a whole short game series on the channel devoted to that. So there's nothing clandestine going on here. There's no, oh, it didn't work. There's none of that. That's not what it's about. This is about experimentation. That's what the channel was based on, and that's the path that I'm going to continue down. I appreciate everybody that's sending questions. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the engagement that I get on this channel. Hopefully we'll keep growing. I'll keep putting out new content for you on a weekly basis. It's going to vary. It's going to have variety. It's going to be great. We're going to have a great time. We're going to explore a lot of different areas of golf. Some are just going to be my opinions. Some are going to be just the state of the game. Some are going to be practice. Some are going to be maybe new swing methods, new equipment, you know, you name it. We're going to go there. We're going to check it all out. That's what the channel's all about. So thank you so much for all of the views, all of the subscriptions, all the comments, the thumbs up, and all the support you guys give me. And I'll see you next time.